Hello, everyone. This is Kylene Dibble, Executive Director of Parents for Public Schools of Pitt County. I am here today at Ayden Elementary School, where we are going to experience a fantastic school tour and learn about all the things that they have to offer there in Ayden. On the Zoom with us today, we have a few guests. Ms. Hilliard, would you like to introduce yourself to our viewers?
Sure. Good morning, good evening, everyone. I am Amy Hilliard, and I am the principal here at Ayden Elementary.
All right. Ms. Gribble, tell us who you are.
Good morning and welcome to Ayden Elementary School. I'm one of the two instructional coaches here at Ayden Elementary School that help teachers and students every day with learning. Glad to have you.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us. We also have Miss Ashley Watkins here with us today. Ashley, tell us what you do there at Ayden Elementary.
Hey, yes, I am a parent of Ayden Elementary students and a member of the PTA.
Fantastic. We are so glad that you could join us because I think most folks watching today are probably parents thinking about coming to Ayden Elementary.
Sure.
So parents who are watching, we are going to start today with a few questions with Ms. Hilliard that you might have an interest in knowing, and then we'll see a few spaces in their school. Ms. Hilliard, a common question I get from lots of parents is what's the size of your school? How many students are there?
So currently we have 642 students enrolled pre-K through fifth grade. Currently with the pandemic, we have about 100 of those students that are full-time virtual. So currently we have about 500 roughly students on campus currently.
Okay, so we're all keeping our fingers crossed that next year is a normal year.
Yes.
The 2021-2022 school year.
Yeah.
And so you would have about, say that again, 600.
We have currently we have 642 students enrolled currently.
All right, so around 640 students there at Ayden Elementary. And in any particular class, what's a general class size for your students?
Sure. We currently have 5 teachers for each grade level.
Okay.
So with that, we have anywhere between 20 and 25 students for the most part in each class per grade level.
Fantastic. So parents watching, that gives you a little bit of an idea of how many friends your child will be making when they start going to school.
Absolutely.
Or if they may be starting kindergarten or transitioning to Ayden, but a nice group of friends to be made.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit, Ms. Hilliard, about any activities that your school offers. Like, do you have any clubs? Do you have extra things that students can participate in outside of those normal reading and writing classes?
Absolutely. We have lots of things. Of course, this year is kind of the outlier, but usually in a normal year, we offer lots of different things. We have Lego League for our K2s, our first, second, third grade students, where they compete in regional and some even state competitions, doing Lego competitions. We have chorus for our 4th and 5th grade students. So they do concerts, and we have always do a Black History play every year where students can actually come in and participate in the Black History play. And we're still working on that even for this year, trying to do a virtual option. So we're still trying to at least have that. We have all kinds of different events that go on. We usually do Grandparents' Day, which was sad that we weren't able to do that this year, but that's always a huge hit with our families and our school. So we offer lots of different things here.
Fantastic. It sounds like there's a lot for those of you looking at Ayden Elementary. It sounds like there are many opportunities for your student to be involved both in and out of the classroom.
Sure.
So as we think about, so students can get engaged in extra ways, but in a typical year, and we're keeping our fingers crossed that we're back to regular next year. What are some ways that parents can be engaged with your school?
Yeah, we are always looking for parent volunteers. In years past, we've had the Watchdogs program that was getting our dads to come in and help, and they would walk around the school and they would help in the classrooms. They would even do one-on-one reading with students. So anytime we can have volunteers here on campus and, helping out in classrooms, we always open our doors to our parents to come volunteer. And we have a very active PTA. with Ms. Watkins and some other parents that we are always happy to have them help us with our PTA and different things that our PTA does for our school.
Wonderful. I know a lot of you as parents are always looking at ways that you can continue to connect with your child and the things that are important to them. And it's great to always feel like you're welcome in your child's school. And that really sounds like an atmosphere that's created there at Ayden Elementary. Some parents sometimes want to know a little bit about communication. And so are there things that come home every day or every week, or how do parents sort of know what's going on at the school? Maybe phone calls? What happens there at Ayden?
Sure. We have lots of different ways we try to communicate with parents. Usually on Wednesdays, we send home paper information to parents. We send home Wednesday folders every Wednesday to parents. So that's every Wednesday. But I do an alert now call every Sunday night with updates for what's coming up that week, as well as, what's coming up in a couple weeks from there. We also have Class Dojo, where parents can communicate with their teachers every day, all day, if need be. So we have that as an option. We also post our weekly announcements every week on Dojo, as well as our Facebook page. And we have a lot of parents that send us messages on our Facebook page. So we have lots of different ways that we try to keep parents connected.
Excellent. So parents, if you're wondering if you'll know how your child's doing each day in school, like Ms. Hilliard said, there's a daily opportunity to communicate. There's weekly papers that come home. There's Sunday night phone calls. There's social media opportunities. Lots of ways for you to know exactly what's going on with your child. As we talk about parent engagement, Ms. Watkins, I want to come talk with you for just a minute and ask, what has your experience been like at Ayden Elementary as a parent?
Well, I've been here this is my 10th year at Ayden Elementary. I'm a student there. And, it's been great. They're always welcoming for, any parent that wants to get involved. Getting involved in PTA is a great way to help, whether it be volunteering with book fair or fall festival. And again, some of these are during a more normal school year than maybe
We're
this
hoping
year.
for that.
And we
That's
are.
what we're
And
looking for.
we still had book fair this year, although it was run by school staff just to limit the amount of volunteers in the school. But we did run our holiday shop this year with parent volunteers, our penguin patch shop that we do. In the past we do like bingo nights and all sorts of extra activities that have volunteer hours maybe in the evenings or during the days to try to accommodate parents that want to kind of come help out and maybe the day hours don't work for them. But honestly, even without the PTA, a great way I personally think being involved is just supporting your teachers, emailing them, dojoing them, even if it's just to say, hey, thanks for communicating this week, or just letting them know that you're there if they need anything. I try to send a message periodically and even just say, hey, is there anything you need for your classroom? And sometimes I get, we could really use XYZ. And just sending that in, I think, is a great way that you could help, even if time is not something that you can do. There's tons of ways that you can stay involved with your school.
Excellent. What I really hear from you, Ms. Watkins, is that you're describing a community. You're describing a school that really creates community with its families and its parents, that you can help run the festival, or you can come attend the festival. That there's lots of opportunities for whatever your schedule allows. I want to point out to those who are watching that we are filming during the pandemic. You might be watching this 2 or 3 years from now and be like, what's going on? But we are filming during the pandemic. So if any of us are in a room alone, we have our masks off. And when someone walks in the room, we're making sure to put that mask on, because the schools have done such a great job following safety protocols. We are actually going to travel now to the Media Center. And Ms. Gribble is going to tell us a little bit about what happens there in the Media Center and what that's like. So Ms. Gribble, hello.
Hi, thank you for having me today. Ms. Hilliard had started us off in the cafeteria, and behind her on the walls were some root words and things that we have put on the wall that I didn't want to get unnoticed. That's just some visual engagement for your student when they're in the cafeteria. And I am welcoming you to the Media Center. This is a magical place that usually the kindergartners are most excited to come to, because for some of them, it's their first opportunity to check out their own library books. So we take pride in the amount of books that we have and the choices that we have for them in the media center. So I'm just going to let you see a little bit of one of our corners. We have a green screen set up that we do lots of fun activities with the students. The students are able to come in and pick out two stories to check out, and that self-selection makes them feel independent, and they really do look forward to it. So this is just one of the great opportunities we have to get that love of reading going right from the start.
Excellent. And Ms. Gribble, do they come to the Media Center every day or every week? Tell me a little bit about how often they visit that wonderful location.
The lower grades have a scheduled class time where they come and they do activities that help them learn how to check out the books, how to use the books safely. Our media coordinator helps build that love of learning by doing some different activities with them in the media center. And then our upper grades can come, and we also have open checkout. So once everybody gets into the swing of things, we have time in the morning and sometime during lunchtime, that time of day, where they can take a pass and come down so that they always have access to a new book.
Okay, perfect. And this is actually a spot that I'd like, hopefully, Ms. Gribble, you can explain a little bit. I assume that students have either specials, or I'm not sure what you all call them, encores or specials, music, art, those kinds of things. What does your school offer like that, and how often do students go?
We term them both of those things. We call them encore. Some of the younger students know them as specials because they view them as special and they're excited to go. We offer Media Center for K2. We offer Computer Lab for the upper grades 3 through 5, PE most years 2 times a week, music and art.
Excellent, excellent. So it sounds like lots of opportunities for your students to have just a lot of fun and engagement, and some real ways to use their brains in very creative ways throughout the day. That's fantastic. We are going to head back over to Ms. Hilliard, who is in the cafeteria, and tell us a little bit about cafeteria procedures in a typical year. I know this year has been a little different, but again, fingers crossed. By the time those of you watching this video are sending your kids into the schools again, we're going to be back to normal. So tell us a little bit about cafeteria procedures.
Yeah, so our cafeteria, I'm going to flip my screen so you can see our cafeteria. It is very large because we do have one of the largest student bodies in Pitt County. So I am going to flip my screen. So if you'll bear with me just a second so you guys can actually see our cafeteria. Our cafeteria is rather large, and pretty much all of our classes eat in here for their grade level at the same time. Our kindergartners are our first group. Our pre-K students are actually our first group that comes into the cafeteria to eat. And then we go from kindergarten and move our way up. You can see our ladies are prepping for lunch now. They're having their lunch early so they can get the meals out to our students. So we actually kind of did a cafeteria renovation last summer where we came in and painted and put some things on the wall that actually engage our students while they're eating. We have, it's kind of hard to see, but we have multiplication tables over on the other wall that there are tables in front of right now. We have a world map with all the continents. So we really wanted to make this a learning rich environment so that they have access to learning opportunities while they're even eating. So that's kind of our procedure, and they would go through the line, or they can bring their lunch to school. Currently, they are eating in their classroom, so this is not a use space currently, but in a typical year, they would eat here in the cafeteria.
All right, excellent. Yeah. And the top question I get when we're able to do in-person tours is, how long does my student get to eat lunch?
Sure. They have roughly 30 minutes for their lunchtime, which is ample time for our kids, especially with the younger kids. The teachers really focus on, okay, let's eat first. And then have that social time with your classmates at the table. Most of the time, each kindergarten class takes about 2 tables, and the teacher eats with them. But they have about roughly 30 minutes.
Okay, excellent. And each class eats with their class, correct? They don't switch classes or go eat with a friend in another class.
No. Sometimes we do have some different things. We also are a PBIS school, and sometimes they may choose some different rewards for PBIS behavior where they may get a day where they can eat with a friend in another class, but that's something that they would earn.
All right. And for those who are new to Pitt County Schools, let's see, what does PBIS mean?
It is positive behavior incentive. And that is what we use to engage our students and promote that positive behavior in our classrooms and on our campus.
Excellent. Excellent. And last question for you before we move on to our next location, which will be our gym with Ms. Gribble in just a minute. But last question, all parents want to know, can I come eat with my child during lunch in a regular school year?
We do open it for our parents to come eat with their child. You have to check in the office even in a typical year. So it has been very difficult for us to adjust because we're so used to seeing our parents here all the time. And it has been really difficult for us not to have that one-on-one contact with our parents that are usually coming on campus and eating with their students. So that was definitely an adjustment, but yes, parents can come eat with their child.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So lots of parents always ask me about physical activity. So we are going to move to our gym with Miss Gribble, who has hopefully been able to make her way there. Excellent.
I am here. We are having 2 classes just leave the gym, which is probably good timing because then you'll be able to hear me a little bit better. But this is our gym. It is a wonderful space where lots of physical activity takes place. Behind me is a rock wall, which when your student passes the ability and is ready to use, and the parents sign a form that gives them the okay, they can work on skills with climbing. That was provided with a grant that our PE teachers applied for because they noticed in more recent times that children need to build up their ability with hand coordination, arm strength. So they wrote this grant and were applied and we were accepted. So we're one of the only elementary schools, I believe, in the county that has that. So
it's really exciting.
It is, and the kids love it. You can see behind me also is our stage. That's where all of our performances take place and our award ceremonies, and it's a special place for the children to come. Lots of fun activities, and it's important for them to have that physical engagement.
Absolutely. And remind us how many times they go to PE per week.
Most years schedules, depending on how many classes we have for each grade, 2 times a week.
Okay. And then on the days that they're not doing PE, do students have a chance to have some sort of recess?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Usually about 30 minutes. And we have a great playground right now. It's kind of underwater because of all the rain that we've had. So besides a rainy day, they will go out and get a chance to play on the equipment or bring out a ball, do some physical activity. We also have a great walking track that the children can walk a couple of laps. And sometimes we challenge them to do that and see how many laps and how many miles they can get within a month.
Oh, that's fun. That's really fun. And now if it is rainy day, do they do any sort of activity in their classroom to help them move around a bit?
Absolutely. We definitely believe in a brain break and a body break to get some exercise. So lots of the teachers have favorite songs and movements and things like that they'll pull up on our smart boards because each classroom also has a smart board that they can use. And that provides that physical movement that the students really need to be able to be engaged in learning.
Excellent. Ms. Gribble, one last question, just a follow up to something you just said. Some parents might be coming for the first time. Can you tell us what a smart board is? And maybe we'll see one in the classroom we visit in a couple of minutes, but what's a smart board?
Absolutely. That is almost like a big computer. It's hooked up to a desktop and it is used for instruction. Teachers instruct from the smart board. They can pull up different activities on the smart board. It gives them the world of the internet at their fingertips, and it's big enough in size that the students can see and interact as well.
Excellent. Parents, if you were in a classroom, you would see that it's sometimes almost used like when we were kids, our chalkboard, our whiteboard, things like that. So every classroom has one, which is a pretty phenomenal thing. And it's great. The kids can go up and touch the screen to put math numbers up, or they can, draw lines between words, and the teacher uses it. And it's such a great tool. Well, thank you for showing us the gym. That was such a great place to see. And we are going to move now to a classroom. This is actually a first grade classroom. I know we may have a lot of kindergarten parents watching, and but the classrooms are very, very similar.
Yeah.
And the kindergarten classes have students in them right now. And just for confidentiality reasons, we want to make sure that we're honoring their space. And so we're going to see a first grade classroom today. And
Yes.
Ms. Hilliard, tell us a little bit about a typical classroom.
So I'm going to again flip my camera so you can kind of get an idea of the size and what our classroom looks like. This is a first grade classroom. And of course, our kids right now, we usually, like I said, we have roughly between 20 to 25 kids, just depending on that grade cohort. But right now, our classes are a little bit smaller. We have between 15 and 18 kids per class currently. So they are distanced a little more than they usually would be, and they usually have space in here so you can have group time and floor time and do some instruction to give the kids opportunity to move around. But this year again is not typical. But here's that smart board that Ms. Gribble was talking about. Here's that smart board for this classroom that's connected to the computer so they can look at things on as a whole group. But this is just our typical classroom. And it is pretty standard, especially for our K2. They have tables. Our 3rd through 5th grade have their own individual desks because they are a little bit bigger and need a little more of their own space. So,
right. I'm loving all of the things I see on the walls that make students feel so welcome and engaged while they're in their classroom learning. And it just seems like such a warm and welcoming environment for students.
Yes, it is. And most of those teachers also have their own library. So we have the media center, but most of these teachers also, I'll flip this around again. They have their own library. This teacher has a wealth of books in her own classroom. So if they are waiting the opportunity to go back in their classroom to the media center to check out a book, their teacher has some that they can check out as well and take home. So yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, while you get to a location that it looks like students might be coming in. So
yes, they surprised me.
in with Ashley Watkins and just ask you, is there anything else that you'd like to add about your experience as a parent there at Ayden Elementary?
Sure. So like I mentioned before, this is our 10th year with students at Ayden Elementary. It's also our final year having a student at Ayden Elementary, which is definitely hard to fathom that not being part of our daily lives. Drop-offs, pickups, communications, it's going to be a big adjustment for me, I know, and I'm sure for my children as well. But one thing that I love about Ayden Elementary, and it really has to do with all of the Ayden schools, is the community feel. Being in a small town and having one elementary school, one middle school that feeds only with one other school to the high school, they flow very cohesively and support each other. Our town supports our school because there's one elementary school to support. So not only do we have amazing teachers and amazing staff, amazing administration, we have an amazing community. And I think it really helps the kids feel like an extended family. And so while we are super sad to leave, I know that, those things for us will continue to the middle school and have already continued for one of our other children at the high school. And it just, to me, there's just no other place in the county like it. We looked at other schools originally and have never once regretted our decision to go to Ayden, and hope that others will love it as well.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences there, Ms. Watkins. I know that it will be very bittersweet to leave Ayden Elementary this year. I know that's been such a great memory maker for your family. And I imagine that you'll continue to stay connected there as a community member. Ms. Hilliard, is there anything else that you'd like to add for families who are watching and considering Ayden Elementary as a potential future home?
Sure. I'd love to piggyback on Ashley here. This school, I've been here now for 5 years. I started as the assistant principal and came in and moved into the principal position 2 years ago last week. And this truly is a community school. We have a really good relationship with all of our parents and all of our students. Somebody came a few weeks ago and they're like, hey, how do you know all these kids by name? You just do. It's very much a community and family feel. My own kids come here, and I love it as a parent myself, not only as the administrator for the building, but my kids love it here, and that's very important to me. And I just love this little school.
Well, thank you so much. Ms. Gribble, do you have anything that you want to add before we leave?
I'll follow up with, I'll show my age a little bit. And this is my 24th year at Ayden Elementary School. And both of my personal children attended this school as well. One is graduating from nursing school and one will be graduating from high school. So obviously that says how dear this school is to me. And it's a wonderful opportunity for learning.
Fantastic. Parents, I hope that you've enjoyed this tour today. We are so very grateful that you've taken the time to watch a tour of Ayden Elementary. I know if you have further questions, you can reach out to Ms. Hilliard or Ms. Gribble. I'm sure Ms. Watkins would be happy to answer questions. Feel free to reach out to us at Parents for Public Schools, and we're happy to make those connections for you. Ms. Hilliard, Ms. Gribble, Ms. Watkins, thank you for the time that you've given our tour today, and we hope everybody has a great day.
Thank you.